What's going on, YouTube? I'm back here with another training video for you guys. I'm getting quite a few questions about my current training split, so I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been doing. I have some just sped up footage here, just showing you guys the importance of doing some rotator cuff stuff. Always do some rotator cuff stuff before my upper and push workouts, and sometimes my pull workouts as well. So a few times a week. A lot of people tend to overlook that, but make sure you get that in. So first exercise here, it was my deload week for my 5-3-1 overhead press. So I just have one set here. Again, just following the given weight that I was given for the week. So on my deload weeks, I usually make sure it's a hypertrophy workout, which you'll see throughout this workout. So I don't exactly deload the assistance work. I just don't go as heavy. So this is my first main movement of the day, dumbbell incline press. Definitely my chest is one of my weaker points, probably my weakest point, so I'm trying to really bring it up. I do a lot of pressing, also do some isolation exercises, but nothing special here, you know, guys. I'm just this is a hypertrophy day for me, so 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps here. And then again, on my strength weeks and things like that, I typically go in the 4 to 8 rep range, just kind of depending on the exercise and whatnot. So this is a hypertrophy week for me, and I don't really change up the exercises too much. This is definitely one of my bread and butter exercises. I go heavy, moderate, and pretty lightweight here. My second pressing movement of the day was decline dumbbell press. This is a movement that's pretty exclusive to my hypertrophy workouts, just because a heavy weight's kind of awkward for me here. So I usually do about 10 to 12 here. Pretty similar with what I'm trying to do with the incline. It's a movement that I can progressively overload with pretty well with my chest, which is definitely something I'm trying to do. I really like this exercise too. I feel like it's a compound movement, but I really only feel it in my chest, as opposed to sometimes if I'm doing flat dumbbell or incline or something like that, it's a lot of tricep and a lot of shoulder for me. And my triceps definitely have outgrown my chest, at least in proportion. So doing a movement like this is good because it's not really isolating my chest, but at least for me, I feel a lot better in my chest than, like I said, flat bench or incline. So that's typically how I start most of my push workouts. I usually just do 2 presses, so it could be an incline and then a flat, or a flat and an incline, or a shoulder press like my overhead press, and then maybe a flat. It doesn't really matter as long as they're not 2 of the same angle. Today I did 3 just because the overhead press was a decline for me, or a deload for me, so I didn't really count it. And again, I always make sure my hypertrophy weeks fall on my deload weeks too. So I usually have my first week of Jim Windler 5-3-1 is a strength week, and then second hypertrophy, and then third strength, fourth hypertrophy. So that having my deload weeks on a hypertrophy week also kind of helps me recover a little bit more. And then here I'm just doing some dumbbell lateral raises. These are a great exercise for shoulders. It's pretty much this and the barbell overhead press are my 2 only really consistent shoulder movements. I'll do some rear delts here and there, things like that. I never really do front raises, but this is pretty much my bread and butter. I usually do this probably most of the time, twice a week on both upper and push days. It's pretty much the best exercise I've ever done for my shoulders, and definitely the side delts, right? So rep range is a little bit higher there, usually about 10 to 15, especially again on hypertrophy weeks. And I'll have the whole routine listed out at the end. So this was my first set of cable crossovers. It's pretty much this was the only chest isolation movement I did today. I typically don't have a chest isolation on my upper days, but on my push days I usually will throw one in. I'm really focused on, again, progressive overload, and it's really difficult to progressively overload in isolation movements, so I really stick with the compound for the most part, but I do get a little more volume in there with the chest, since it is my weaker body part. But overall, I definitely think compound movements are the way to go. And then again, now I just hit some triceps. I don't do a lot of volume for tricep. I usually will do, sometimes I don't train them at all on my upper days. I just let the presses take care of them. And then on my push days, I usually do 1 or 2 exercises, kind of depending on my schedule and whatnot. But today I started off with some press downs, rope press downs. That's really good for the lateral head. You can really emphasize that lateral head there. Again, higher rep ranges here, about 10 to 15. My volume's pretty low on triceps. I usually do about 2 to 3 sets per exercise. So I like to do the rope. I like to do the straight bar here too. Sometimes that's all I'll do for triceps, or sometimes I will go into another movement, an overhead movement here. So like this is a modified skull crusher. I'm not even sure. I just call it line overhead extension. But you see that my elbows aren't 90 degrees. They're kind of at like a 45-degree angle. So it definitely saves your elbows. Again, this is predominantly hitting the long head of the tricep, while the press down was hitting the lateral head. So those two movements, along with pressing movements, are pretty much all you need for tricep. You know, any long head or any overhead movement. So that's my push routine for you guys. I have the whole thing listed out here for you in a second. This was my second or third set there. So there's the routine, guys. Again, I give myself a range for sets and reps, just kind of depending on how I'm feeling. What's going on, guys? This is Greg back here at Bears for Fitness. I'm back home. Hopefully you guys saw my training video that's kind of before this, my push workout. Hopefully you saw that. I just want to show you something I'm doing for my post-workout nutrition. Show you guys that my food sources and things like that haven't changed too much post-contest. Again, I think it's a big a stint from the way I diet and how I choose my food sources and whatnot. So like I said, I'm back home and I don't have like my typical foods here like I always do, like my typical breakfast, typical lunch, things like that, back home for Thanksgiving break. So I just wanted to show you guys, you can always kind of find foods that fit within your macronutrients, and that's one of the big selling points of flexible dieting. You don't have to, go out and get your chicken and go out and get your whey all the time. You can eat foods like normal foods that your family members and stuff have in the house, which is definitely going to be good come holiday time. So what I have here, it's pretty untraditional for me. It's just this chicken noodle soup. Again, the macros on here are solid. I think it's per can it's 6, 28, 14. So definitely solid macros there. Tastes good. I also just have some Triscuits. I never really eat Triscuits, but again, they're here. They have pretty solid numbers. I have like a serving and a half of those. And then come in and get the chicken and broccoli. Just, good old chicken and broccoli. Never go wrong there. I also just have some pepper jack cheese. So again, getting fiber, getting some micronutrients, getting the protein like always. I'm just going to have some Dijon mustard with that. So overall, the meal is about 700 calories. Typical meal for me. I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing right now. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the training video. I'll put the specific macros probably somewhere on the screen for this meal. So I just want to show you guys that you don't always have to eat the same foods all the time. And even though if you're not in your home and things like that, you can typically find foods, good tasting foods that also fit your macros. So thank you guys for always. Thank you for the support. And I'll have more good stuff coming soon. Let's eat.